What's up, everybody? I am your host, Niners Sickness. I got my boy Pete with me. Brandon should be joining us shortly. Welcome to the Niners Boys podcast. We're going to talk football and much more right after this.
How you play the game with the people that writing the rules? Ain't the fame that I'm after when paying the dues. I've been through the pain that's reflected in the attitude. Might be winning now, but the thing is that I had to lose. So go and tell me what you really want to do. And lonely at the top, cause there ain't a lot of room. Ain't no other option, that's all I ever knew. So I'ma get it poppin', you know how I'ma do. I've been down through the blood and the sweat. Guarantee you can know I'm a threat. I've been down through the blood and the sweat, and I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. Yeah, I'm going all in. And I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. Yeah. They know I'm going all in.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Niners Boys podcast. We've been away for a minute. Pete, we are back. We are back. Now, the question is, will the Niners be back in 2025? How you doing, Pete?
I'm great. I missed you guys. And I missed all the people in the chat. It's been a really hectic fourth quarter for us retail people. But we're back. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to start getting into draft, digging into the draft, the mocks, and like all the draft stuff and free agency, off season. I don't even care. Like, I care about the playoffs. All I care about is that the Chiefs don't win and that the Eagles don't win. Anything else, whatever.
It would be nice to see. Honestly, it'll be nice to see the Buffalo Bills and the Commanders.
Yeah,
Super
I wouldn't
Bowl.
mind them. Yeah,
Josh Allen versus Jaden Daniels, the rookie. Can he be the best rookie ever? We shall see. Real quick, let me just give a shout out to those that are in the chat. Shout out to Jimmy. Shout out to 49ers Throwback, Daniel Burry Sports. We got 49ers Media in the house. We got Niner Eddie. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast. Our boy Brandon should be coming with us, joining us soon. There's a lot of things to talk about. One of the things you mentioned, Pete, is, yes, it's the off season. There's playoffs, but we're not in them. So we get to talk about the Columbine. We get to talk about Senior Bowl. We get to talk about free agency. We get to talk about draft simulating draft picks. And, bro, me and you, we got to do a bunch of draft simulations, bro. I know you love to do it. I love to do it.
I love mocks.
Yeah, same here. So I think it's going to be fun to do that, man. So I'm looking forward to that. And those that love watching mocks, it'll be fun to join us. We're going to, make Pete the GM of the 49ers. What will the GM Pete do? What will the GM Brandon do? What will the GM Beto do? And you guys can let us know as well in the comments, players you agree with us, players you disagree on. And if you do disagree, which player would you have taken instead of the one we took as a GM? We're going to get everybody involved, so we appreciate you. Before we start talking 49er football and get deep into it, with all the DC coordinator, special teams drama, what game really surprised you in the playoffs? Of all of them that have played already, which game completely surprised you, Pete, and why?
I mean, the biggest one for me was how close the Rams were to beating the Eagles. Honestly, I could care less who won that game. I really didn't want the Rams to win. I found myself rooting for the Eagles. But it was just it was a really good game. It was a really good game. And the only thing that pissed me off about the game is that the Rams look like they are. Luckily, they only have a few more years of Matt Stafford. Like they only got maybe a year or two left to him. But that defense looked. Their defensive line looked really good, and it was able to keep them in the game. But yeah, that one surprised me that it was so close.
The Rams game, yeah, that was actually a pretty damn good game. The Rams defense is young, upcoming. They have guys in the front that can get to the quarterback. I believe in the last two games they played, they had a total of 16 sacks combined in both of those games. But I'll tell you one thing. It is great if you can get to the quarterback. It is great that you get the sacks. But if you can't stop those big explosive plays, we have to question your defense. I mean, Saquon Barkley the first time they met, over 200 yards. This time, 200-plus yards as well. They got to work on their run defense because you can have the best pass rushers, but if you can't stop the run, you're going to fall short, as the Rams did in a playoff game.
And what's funny is that you would think that the Rams haven't been good against the run all season. I mean, but the 49ers didn't take advantage. Why did the 49ers not take advantage of that? It's just really, it's like, I guess I shouldn't really delve into, dig myself into that, go down the rabbit hole, if you will, and ask the whys. But it just made this year so frustrating watching them do things that they really have no, they really don't have the personnel to do. And yeah, I miss my old 49ers and the run game and the toughness and the hitting people in the mouth. But
yeah, I hear you. And listen, this is not hating on the Rams. Ram fans that watch this video, they can take it as they like. It doesn't matter to me. But the Rams got as far as they did. It wasn't because they're good. They're upcoming. They're drafting well. They still have McVay. And when you have Matthew Stafford, you can go far. But honestly, it's because the Niners didn't have the season that we all expected them to have. The injuries, the off-the-field issues with losing family members, and all the Sega that it went. If the Niners were healthy, and if they were not hurt and they were doing their thing, the Rams would not have been in the playoffs, and that West would have been won by the Niners. And again, that can sound like me trying to be a homer. I'm not. I'm strictly saying a healthy roster with the Niners, a healthy team. The Rams ain't not beating us twice as they did this year. So we still have 2025. They went into the playoffs. McVay is not a bad coach. He's not. And a lot of Ram fans, they think they own the West. And I tell them, how many times have the Rams won the West? And how many times have the Niners won the West? The Niners. And how many Super Bowls do the Rams have? And I don't care if our Super Bowls are 40, 50 years, 100 years old. They're still there. They're still accomplishments. Yeah. How many Super Bowls have the Niners won? 5. So I don't care what Rams want to say or what they think. The West belongs to the San Francisco 49ers. Until any team can surpass 5 Super Bowls, they belong to the Niners. And these are Ram fans. They're like, well, the last Super Bowl you guys won, it was in 94. Oh, my God. How many years ago? I'm like, okay, fair enough. We haven't won a new Super Bowl since then. But where have the Rams been? During all that time, all they can manage was 2 Super Bowls? That's it? Wasn't that their opportunity, if they so say that we haven't won one since then, to try to catch up to us? And they haven't. And they won't.
Yeah. No, they won't. Like, you got to give this current regime its credit. Like, I know people don't want to hear it, like, because it's the Rams. I hate the Rams more than anybody. But
no, but you're talking football. Go ahead.
And what's going on? I got to say what's going on to my guy Bashar down there, 49 minded. Make sure you give my guy a follow. But and I see you throwback but at the same time, like, I mean, the Rams are the Rams. I'm always going to hate the Rams. You'll never hear a good, well, you might hear, like, I'm kind of complimentary of McVay, like, just because, I mean, you got to give the guy credit. He does more with less. Like, then, I mean, he's a good coach. Like, you can't, there's no way to sugarcoat it. He's a good coach. Like, but
He's not better than Shanahan.
that, I think that's what makes it so frustrating with the 49er roster is, even with all the injuries, the 49ers had a better roster than the Rams do currently. And the 49ers still struggle. We have the 11th pick in the draft. So, I mean, we can talk, but I mean, we can talk about Shanahan is better than McVay, but at the end of the day, like, when Shanahan lost his guys started going down, and we couldn't get wins. And McVay lost a Hall of Famer in Aaron Donald in the middle, and he lost a whole bunch of people. The cupboard was bare, and they still made the playoffs. So
I'll tell you this, bro. Real quick, not to interrupt you. I tell you this: Shanahan is do or die type of guy. Okay,
Yeah,
when he takes his team to the playoffs, he's not effing around. He'll take you all the way to the championship, if not the Super Bowl. McVay hasn't done that. He's fallen short. He lost just recently in the divisional round. So Shanahan's like, listen, if I can't get you to the championship, I'm not even going to get into the playoffs. If I get every time the Shanahan has got into the playoffs, at the minimum, we have reached the NFC Championship. That's good coaching.
Yeah. I feel you. It's not that I think Shanahan's a bad coach. I'm just Shanny just frustrates. I think he frustrates a majority of the fans. Because there's so many obvious things that need to be fixed that he just doesn't fix. He just doesn't do it. And so it's not that I want him. I want him to figure it out. And
of course,
that's my thing, because I know he's not going anywhere. Yeah, and there's no point in getting on here and saying, "Oh, Shanny should be fired" and all that nonsense. That's pointless. He's not going anywhere. But I just want him to be better, and it's gonna be, but it's really hard to get better when you can't admit that you were wrong, and and I don't think Kyle is willing to admit that he's wrong a lot of the time. I think he gives himself excuses by saying, "Oh, well, we were missing this," like the injuries, the issues with like you were bringing up earlier with the team, the issues with the different issues, personal issues, and everything. And not to poo-poo those are huge things, but at the same time, you've still got your starting quarterback, you still got receivers. You've got weapons. You're not really missing anybody on your offensive line except for, Trent Williams. But even if you want to look at that situation, Jalen Moore played pretty well. Not at Trent Williams level, but he didn't play bad at all. So for you not to do something, it really it still bugs me.
Well, let's be honest. And again, if I sound like I'm defending Kyle, so be it. But every head coach and every true fan of whatever prospective team they root for will tell you they're frustrated with their coaches as well. There's not a perfect coach that coaches any of these teams. I'm pretty sure if you talk to a couple of Ram fans, they'll tell you McVay frustrates me in this and this and that. We're talking about Shanahan because he does frustrate us in the things that he does, but he doesn't listen. Just because he doesn't admit that he's wrong to us or to the media doesn't mean he doesn't admit that to his players. His players love playing for him. His players talk highly about Shanahan. So just because he doesn't admit issues to us, the fan base or the media, doesn't mean he doesn't address that in the locker room to his players. His concern is about his players and his owner and the management and the fan base, of course. But he's not gonna say too much about certain things that he keeps it in the locker room to the fan base. And all I want to know is how many are we winning games? Are we fun to watch? Are the Niners fun to watch?
Not last year.
Well, because of injuries. Year. But how many teams go through?
Beto, come on. It was not all because of injuries. Like the offense looked terrible. The offense looked terrible all season.
But the defense was bad too. Sorensen was a mistake.
But the defense wasn't bad all season.
But you must have been watching a different defense, bro. Defense was terrible.
Bro. There was a few games in the second half where they kept them in the game. The offense couldn't give them anything. And my issue with Shannon, I don't care if he tells us that he should have done anything different. You don't show it to me by telling me that you did the wrong thing. You show it to me that you understand that you were wrong. You show it in your actions and what you do with the team. And what he has shown us is that he doesn't care about the offensive line. He's told us that as well. But he hasn't just told us, he's showing it to us. He doesn't care about the offensive line. He doesn't care about he doesn't think there's anything wrong with this scheme as far as the passing game goes. Like he thinks that there should be answers. There's answers in every single play. Those are the words that are out of his mouth. Like and he's still showing it to us every single game that they go out there. They're running out the same tired wannabe finesse scheme all season long that wasn't working over and over and over and over and over again. And what do they say is the definition of insanity is doing things over and over and over again, expecting different results. Like, but Shanahan just does. I genuinely think that he doesn't think there's anything wrong with this scheme. And and there's been multiple people, and this was going into the previous season, that we were calling out the drop back passing game, and that it wasn't really good. Why are you going away from the run game when you can't even, if you can't run the ball, you're not gonna do anything in this league. I don't care who it is. The reason why, if you look at the Bills, what's the difference between this year and a couple of years and the previous years with the Bills? The difference is that they're running the ball and they're taking some of the pressure off of Josh Allen. Josh Allen isn't having to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game. That's the difference. And for anybody to think anything different is weird. I don't care.
Did we play good football last year?
I think we played pretty good football, but they were dabbling in and out of that offense.
Fair enough, but do you think we played for good football though?
I think that sometimes they did. I think they were wishy-washy last year too, and I called it out last year.
Because they had Christian McCaffrey all year. They didn't have him this year. They lost Mason also. When you're running your third quarterback and he's a rookie, and then you go to your fourth, how much running are you expecting him to do, bro? Come on.
Okay, but they were leading the league in rushing this year.
I understand that. But
they were leading the league in rushing this year and still losing
the whole
games.
Offense around McCaffrey. And when your key component is not able to start, now you got to sit there and rumble for trying to figure out how to fix it without him.
Okay,
his whole game planning is around CMC.
All about around one player. That's his fault. He's a coach. He's a professional football coach. If you can't, it happens all the time. People lose. The other players go down. You got to pivot. And I get it that it's Christian McCaffrey. We were winning games before Christian McCaffrey got here.
Correct.
They were getting production. They were getting production from the running back position before. They made NFC Championship games and Super Bowls before Christian McCaffrey got here. The difference is that Kyle went away from the scheme that was winning them games, and he went to this drop back passing, mostly drop back passing, and then passing to run the ball instead of running the ball to pass the ball. And that is what that clear divide is what is really what happened. And it lost this team its entire identity. This team has no identity now. You've got a bunch of players that your offensive line, look at your offensive line. You can't pinpoint what the 49ers do off their offensive line. They don't have all zone blocking scheme type offensive linemen. They don't have all power linemen. They have a bunch of mismatched people, just like their weapons are a bunch of mismatched guys. And Kyle hides behind the what he talks about with having, what does he say? Positionless football. This ain't basketball. This isn't the Warriors. Like, this is football.
Thank God it's not the Warriors. They suck.
Like, I mean, this is football. If you're going to run a zone scheme, you better have zone blocking linemen. If you're going to run a certain type of scheme, you better have the players that can run that scheme. But that's the problem, is that Kyle is running a scheme that he doesn't have the players for. Is Debo a route running, known as a route running wide receiver? No, he isn't, right? So why are we the only real route runner that we have on this team was known before this season was Brandon Ayuk. And occasionally you mix in some Juwan Jennings in there. But he was kind of slow to be like, as far as we knew. Like, but they didn't have the pieces to be a true drop back passing team. They just don't.
We went to how many championship games in Kyle's tender?
We went 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. How many Super Bowl appearances?
2.
So the shit that he does works.
It did until this season.
Because
it didn't last season in the playoffs. You started seeing the chinks in the armor then. You started seeing it then. Like, things change. Things change.
Hold on. I'm trying to get Brandon in here. Yeah, correct. You make adjustments. I hear you. I'm not saying to keep it, but it has been working. We have gone to 4 championships and 2 Super Bowl appearances. Do you have to make adjustments? Yes. But it's not like since he got here, the shit he's doing is not working. It works. He just has to have the personnel to do it with.
Well, he's got to run it. He's got to run what works.
Hold on. Let me bring in Brandon. There we go. Brandon, you with us? Brandon.
Hey, blink twice if somebody's got you kidnapped.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Or flush the toilet if it smells. All right. Hello? All right. He's not coming in.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Yeah, now I can.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hold on real quick. I'm in a bad area. That's why.
No shit.
Hold on. Guys, go ahead.
All I'm saying, Beto, real quick, is that we know that he's done what Shanny's done, but he did it with running the ball, and not even like the pass game was almost an afterthought because we had Jimmy most of the time. Like, but he wanted running the football, and even last season we did it with running the football with Christian McCaffrey. But even last year we kind of lost our identity because we were trying to get away. He was trying to get away from it more and more and more. You saw him go into the drop back passing game, and like as the season went on, until this year he tried to almost do that like exclusively. And even though he was getting production from the other running backs, it didn't matter to him. So it's just weird. I get that you have to evolve, but I don't think that was really an evolution. That was just him sticking his toe in and not having all the pieces to really run a true scheme that he wanted to run.
Got you. All right, so let's move over to the defensive side. Are the Niners screwing up and making a mistake on waiting on Robert Saleh with the idea that if he doesn't come to the Niners, the fallback guy is Brandon Staley, which I don't want to be the DC. Because to me, Brandon Staley would be like another Nick Sorensen. So Are the Niners, because they're not doing the due diligence? A lot of Jeff Ulbrich is gone already. Dennis Allen, whether people wanted him or not, he doesn't run a 4.3, excuse me. He's gone. A lot of these defensive coordinators are leaving, and the whole fact that the Niners didn't make the playoffs, they had an opportunity to evaluate DC coordinators to bring into this team. And it's like they're sitting with their thumb up their butt, waiting to see what Robert Saleh does. Do you think that it's smart that the Niners are sitting there waiting to see what Saleh does? Now, I heard some things rumbling that the Jaguars are very, very interested in the OC of the Buccaneers. But there's still the Raiders. There's still other teams that are Cowboys that are desperate for head coaches. What's your thoughts on the Niners waiting for Robert Saleh? Like, is he? I mean, I like Robert Saleh. I would like him to, but he's not like, oh my God, it's him or nothing. Why are the Niners doing this, bro? I want to get your honest opinion. People in the comments, I want to read your comments too. Why are the Niners sitting there like a first-time head coach and a first-time general manager waiting on Robert Saleh?
So I think it's a huge mistake to sit here and wait for Robert Saleh. Honestly, I think it's a huge mistake to keep using the same scheme. Like, if I'm being honest, I think they need to move away from what they were doing. Because the more you look at the current scheme that they're running, even when D'Amico was here, D'Amico had moved away from what they normally had been doing. He was running way more cover 4 and running way more. He was doing a lot of bump and run, even mixing a lot more man in there. And then we went right back to more of a cover 3, all zone based look, you see it more and more with teams. They're just going to eat that alive. And you saw a clear difference when Greenlaw got in this year. But even then, it goes to show you that you can't, with that scheme, you're going to have to be entirely healthy. You're going to have monsters on every level of the defense to make it work. And I think that they need to go to a friendlier scheme. I think they need to go to more of something that they can just kind of disguise a lot of things and just kind of hide their big dogs, until it's too late. I would love to. I'll be honest with you, and I know I might get killed for this. I would love to see them go back to a 3-4. I would love to see them go to like more of what Baltimore and Pittsburgh run, and just go to a 3-4. You turn. You can move Bosa. Do you notice with the Steelers how good TJ Watt looks? And let me ask you, why do you think TJ Watt looks so much better than Nick Bosa does all the time?
Because he's better.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, I would.
You got anything else?
I don't really watch too much of the Steelers to kind of give you a definitely answer on that. I was just kidding. I think he's a little bit better than Bosa, but he's not a Myles Garrett's the best. But that's not the question.
To be honest, he is.
I just like his motor. I like his motor.
Nick.
Well, I think he's used completely differently than Bosa is.
That white 9, I hate it. I mean, if you have a big boy in the middle, a D tackle like DeForest Buckner or somebody, if we had a Vita Vea in the middle, that white 9 would work nice. But when you don't have the personnel, come on.
But that's the problem, is that you have to have in the scheme that the Niners run, you have to have you have to have dogs on the defensive line, you have to have dogs at linebacker, and you've got to have dogs on the back end. But the reason why TJ Watt looks so good in that Pittsburgh Steelers defense is because they can put him anywhere. They rush him from everywhere. He's moving around the formation all over the place. They don't know which side he's coming from.
Does he go inside?
he goes everywhere on any given down.
Because Bosa never gone inside. I don't think so. He goes everywhere too, but on the outside, does he?
Bosa's gone inside in the past, like on that, third and longs and like that kind of stuff. But the issue is that like if they had a 3-4, they could move him all over the place because Bosa isn't that traditional like big huge defensive end. He's kind of small, like but he's quick.
Oh, he's bigger than a linebacker.
I think that he might be a little bit bigger than TJ Watt. I don't think there's much of a difference between the two.
No, he's bigger. Those quads.
But I just think that with 3-4 they could disguise a lot more. They could take advantage of all those linebackers that they've been able to bring in. I just think that you wouldn't have to depend so much on the defensive line. And I think that they could dial up pressure. Right now, they struggle to get pressure on quarterbacks. They struggle to cause like confusion with the other team. The other team knows what's coming every single time the 49ers go up. And Bosa is stuck on an island on one side of the defense. He's got to win every single time he goes out there. No matter double team, whatever, everybody knows what's coming, and he's just got to win. But we call TJ Watt better, and he's getting moved all over the place, and gets actually schemed. Yeah, he gets schemed up pressure. Like, but
you said that Bosa gets moved all over the place as well as TJ. So if TJ's getting to the quarterback better, then he is better than Bosa.
Not as much as TJ. Most of the time, Bosa is like we haven't seen Bosa go inside for a while. I'm just saying he's done it in the past. But now, they don't do that.
We will need a true nose tackle to go to a 3-4, bro. We don't have that.
Okay. I mean, Evan Ingram is how much? He weighs how much?
I'm not going to be comfortable with him playing nose tackle for us on a 3-4, bro. Not him.
Who would you? Is there anybody that would be able to play a nose tackle?
That it's already on the roster? Nobody.
No, I'm saying.
But if from the outside, Vita Vea.
Okay, but that's he's not coming.
No. Again, that's why I asked on the roster, and you said anybody. Well, then I just anybody's anybody. So Vita Vea is going to be not that he's coming, but you said anybody, so that's why I gave you a name.
Okay. I just think that the 49ers need to go away from the cover 3. I think that's a moot point at this point. I think that who is running it? I think the 49ers are the only ones running it at this point. I think there might be one other team that's still running it. Even Seattle went away from it.
Besides D'Amico Ryan not being here or when Robert Saleh, right now we don't have the personnel when you have the personnel, that what they run is very effective. We see it in 2019 and we saw it in 2021, I believe. Yeah, 21.
6 years ago.
No, I understand. But if you have the personnel, now if they go get a big boy, a nice D tackle and an edge rusher in the draft this year, then I can see them keeping that scheme. But if they fail to get the right D tackle in that draft, then I can understand your point too, Pete. Then you got to either you get the right D tackle in the draft and keep that scheme, or change the scheme because you did not able successfully to get that D tackle. That makes sense?
Yeah. No, I get it. But the problem for the 49ers is not so much the bodies that they're getting. They can't keep anybody healthy. Like, they can't keep anybody healthy. So even if they get they haven't gotten the right D tackles the last They haven't had the right D tackles for at least 2 seasons. They haven't had no good D tackles since they've been here. And before anybody gets on me, DeForest Buckner was not a good D tackle. Sorry. What?
Wait, what?
He couldn't stop the run if your life depended on it. Please. DJ Jones was better. Armstead was better than
they were number 1 against the run.
Not because of Armstead and DJ Jones.
Oh, come on.
Hey, he was way better than Armstead.
No, he wasn't.
DJ Jones couldn't get on the field when he was
Yes,
there.
he was.
Okay, if you listen, when in 21 when we were getting gashed in the beginning of the season, everybody and their mama was running against the Niners. Armstead was playing on the
He wasn't there
outside.
in
What did they
2000.
do? They moved him inside, and we stopped everybody in the run
Buckner
game.
was gone by then, bro.
That's
But
my
Buckner
point.
was gone.
That's my point. Eric Armstead was moved to the inside, and we stopped the run with Eric Armstead.
I understand, but when Buckner was there, they were number 1 in the league against the run.
No, he wasn't
wide
bad,
margin.
but he's not like this all big pro.
We had the best
Hall of
defense.
Fame D tackle.
He was like because
A lot
a
of Niner fans would have rather kept Buckner over Armstead.
Yeah, because
I
they're
would have
emotional
taken
Niner
Buckner.
fans that don't really know football.
I would have taken Buckner. Buckner was way better than Armstead. Like, I mean, way better. It's not even close.
No,
to
you're
better.
right. Buckner is a better athlete, but for the price, Armstead was better. Now the problem with Armstead is that he couldn't stay healthy, and that was a huge issue. But let's not lie to each other. Armstead hasn't been playing that. He's decent, but he's not like this game changer over there with the Colts. He's not a game changer.
Buckner is a really good player. They just struggled to
I never
put
said he.
together
I
any
never
kind of
said he
team.
wasn't a good player. But he's not this game changer. Like, oh my God, the Colts have nobody, but DeForest Buckner is like the man. Give me a break. He's good, but he's not great.
I would say he is. If they had anything else, who else did they have?
I like G.J. Jones better than Buckner.
No. Who else did the Colts have?
Oh, I don't know, and don't care, to be honest with you. But
that's
no,
all
I
I'm
know where
saying.
you're going. I know you're trying to see why you know. Of course, you need. I mean, look at Hargrave. He had what's his name over there, Cox, in Philly, and the dude was like a freaking player. And he came to us. We didn't have a Cox on our team, and he kind of struggled a little bit with us here in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever you're lined up next to helps a lot your stats as well. But all I'm saying is, yes, Buckner's a better player than Armstead, but Armstead was not a huge drop off from Buckner, in my opinion, when healthy, and the cost was better.
Yeah, that's not up for debate. Like it was,
And we got to look at that in the totality, right? We got to look at that as well, because that does hurt us or help us. Is the cap?
Yeah, but at the same time, if the 49ers had made the financial decisions in the beginning, it would have been a moot point, and they could have kept Buckner, and they could have let Eric Armstead walk. So I mean, we could look at the Richburg contract. We could look at what's his name, the other defensive ends contract. They could have kept Buckner. It came out later. They could have kept him, but they didn't do the right things with some of the other players.
They didn't they felt, in my opinion, and just my opinion, they felt that he was not worth the money he wanted to get paid. And I don't think he's worth the money he's getting paid in Indy. He's all right, but he's not like, oh my God, he's a game changer. Like, he's not a Vita Vea type of player.
Oh, I would take him over Vita Vea.
Oh, okay. And that's fine. That's fair. I respect your opinion, Pete. I don't want to come off like I don't respect your opinion. I do. But let's ask everybody in the chat, if you truly be honest with yourself, who would you rather have? A DeForest Buckner or a Vita Vea in the middle of your defense? Let's see what the chat says. Who would you rather have, Brandon?
I think Defoe. I'd agree with Pete on this one.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I think he gives you both. He gives you run stuffing ability, plus he gives you pass rushing.
Vita Vea does
that
the
was
same.
What was so good. No, he doesn't.
Oh my goodness.
He's a great run stuffer. He gets you occasional sack, but DeForest Buckner was a force in the middle. He was, and it was obvious once they lost him. Like there was a gaping hole there once he left, and they were trying to replace him ever since, and they couldn't. And then it just deteriorated from there. Like I mean, we're still talking about him, like it's 6 years later. But I get. However, if you feel that he is not as good, I mean, everybody has the right to their opinion.
Respectfully, you're right. 100% with you, Pete.
Yeah.
That's why I had to slow down my thing with, because I was like, but I'm like, hey, that's your opinion. I can't get pissed off at your opinion. It's your opinion.
Everybody has the right to their opinion.
We all have our favorite players. We all watch football different. We watch the same thing, but we watch the film different. And to me, Buckner's a great player. Don't get me wrong. He's a great player. But Vita Vea, it elevates your defense. Buckner really doesn't. He needs a complementary support around him. Just like TJ doesn't need the complementary support, Bosa does.
TJ Watt has players all over that defensive line. Like, why are you acting like he doesn't have anybody around him?
Who?
Dude.
No, who? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm not disagreeing. I just didn't hear.
Another defensive tackle. There's another defensive tackle.
No, who are you talking about right now? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, TJ Watt.
Oh, TJ. Okay.
He has players on that defense.
I didn't hear you, bro. Sorry.
Line.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. He's got players on that defense too. But the difference, he's used completely different than both.
Yeah, TJ does. I thought you were talking about Vita Vea. He don't have nobody over there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, TJ does. I just listen, and again, we're all entitled to our own opinion. I love Bosa. I have his jersey. He's on our team. Hey, let's rock with what we have. But if I had my options, I would take. If I could put 3 players in order, I would take the kid Myles Garrett first, TJ, and then Bosa. That's me. People can disagree. That's fine. Everybody, like you said, everybody has their opinion. But those are the 3 guys that I would take. Myles Garrett by a mile. TJ and Bosa are kind of close hairs, but man, Myles Garrett all day long. Imagine Myles Garrett and Vita Vea. Woo-wee. I don't care if Brock Purdy is our quarterback.
So I'm just looking at the stats here. And
now, you know me, bro. I'm not a believer in stats. I think stats are misleading.
Hey,
I look at film. I break down film, not stats.
I get it. But I mean, he's never broken 50 tackles.
But see, that's where that's where the stats are misleading. But he disrupted teams when he needed to. Yes, he has.
Okay.
When it matters in a game, does he come through? Look at Carter from the Philly. When it mattered, he got that sack on Matthew Stafford on a huge play. But he doesn't bounce off the stat sheet much. But he came through like when they needed him. Those are the things that I like from a player when I watch film. Can they produce when they need to? The stats, I understand that's for fantasy football people and everything else. I understand, but I look at the film, I break down the film, and I want to see, are you being productive and are you able to do your job when your name's called upon? And certain players are, certain players are not. You know what I mean? So it's just, I'm not against stats, but stats can be an outlier in my opinion, though. This is a great conversation.
I agree to a point. I'm just because I'm a big tape person. Like I stats are just context.
Correct
for me. Like and
I'm glad we agree.
I'm just I don't know why I can't find.
What's up, Austin Blackwood? Welcome, Red Jet. Welcome, William Roberts. Welcome, David McNiner. Welcome. Those that have been popping in, Terradome, Rome, Owens, welcome to the chat. 49er Minded, you guys, Roberto Hastings in the house. We already mentioned 49ers Throwback. And the rest of you, if I didn't mention your name, I apologize, but I see you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. We're 44 deep. Are you back with us, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
I don't know what happened. My shit disconnected.
No worries, bro.
I got one more thing. I just got one. I know that like you don't put the importance on stat. I get it. But to me, I would say tackles for loss is a very, especially when you're, because not so much sacks with defensive tackles, but tackles for loss for me is a big stat for defensive tackles. And so that's why I immediately went to the. I don't really care about the sacks, but either tackle for loss, sacks, whatever you want to say, DeForest Buckner is destroying Vita Vea in all those stats. Like, I'm just telling you, and it's like so. I mean, we can say impact, but I think tackling a guy behind the line of scrimmage is a pretty big impact play.
Okay, but
And
who's playing alongside of DeForest Buckner, and who's playing alongside of? I don't want to say nobody, bro.
Who?
I don't know, but he's not the only one lined up.
The Colts defense has been terrible. The Colts defense has been terrible.
What's up, William Roberts? Good to see you, my friend.
Like, he doesn't have anybody on that squad. He don't have.
And again, I like DeForest Buckner. I have his jersey as well. It's not like I wasn't happy when he left, but I understood why they let him go. To me, he wasn't like, oh my God, he's one of those one-time players you never let go. Like Bosa, you don't let go of Bosa, you keep Bosa. If they let go of Bosa the way they let go of DeForest Buckner, I would have been pissed.
No, they wouldn't have done that because, I mean,
why? To your opinion, they did it to
defensive
DeForest
end
Buckner
because he's a defensive end.
Like, but if DeForest Buckner was like crushing it.
He was crushing it,
but if he was like getting
a bargain with Eric Armstead, because Armstead had gotten 10 sacks that year, and they thought they were getting a bargain, by just going with Eric Armstead. Well, everybody knew it was a mistake at the time.
Armstead can play outside. Armstead can play outside and inside. DeForest Buckner only played inside, bro.
He was invisible on the outside. Like Armstead was invisible on the outside.
I'm not saying he was good. I said he could play outside when needed to. And he was cheaper. But I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that was the right decision.
Well,
but I can understand why they did it.
All I gotta say right now is that the Niners need to draft somebody on the other side of Bosa because we need help on that other side. I mean, don't get me wrong.
They're not gonna do that.
Floyd did all right this past season, but we need somebody.
Floyd did great, bro. Floyd did great. I was impressed with Floyd did. And people before 8.5 sacks. I don't care about sacks. I care about pressures. He was able to push that pocket the way he did it. I know he wasn't the sack guy, but I mean, for the price that we got him for, I love. He did not.
Yeah.
What's the word? He not overwhelmed me, but he wasn't like underrated either. He was good.
Yeah,
for the money.
But now that we know for sure too that what's his face? Hargrave is leaving, basically. We need to upgrade that, interior as well. Huh?
Do we know that for sure? Like, or is it?
Yeah,
are we reading between the lines because of the what's it called? Because of the restructure.
I think he's leaving.
Who?
Okay. I'm sorry. He's injury prone.
Who? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Who they've kept other guys that were injury prone.
Who?
Like, I'm just looking at the money.
But look, they're getting rid of them also, though.
I mean, everybody thought that they were getting rid of Debo too, and I did it because of the money.
I knew for sure Debo was staying. They love Debo too much.
Yeah. Well, there's 31 million reasons why they're not getting rid of Debo.
Yeah, it's not because they love him, Brandon. They don't. Yeah. They just can't afford to let him go.
Yeah, and the same thing. Even with the restructure, Hargrave is going to hit them. What is it, like 17 million?
Yep. But this is why I don't know. This is why they did what they did with Hargrave, because they didn't want to make the same mistake they did with Armstead last year. And I give credit to John and Kyle for doing this. They went ahead and approached Hargrave, and that's why they're going to do the June 1st cut. So they don't have to go through what they went through Armstead. And props for that. And those that think that Hargrave's coming back, bro, I don't know what world you're living in. That guy has a reputation. He has a resume. Some dumb, desperate team out there is going to pay for his services. He's not going to come back for no $6 million to the Niners. That I can promise you. And if he does, then I'll sit here and humble myself, but I doubt it. So Hargrave is gone, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, all the June 1st thing does is split up that 17 between 2 years.
The dead money.
So, I mean, and I mean, it just splits it up to where they're paying what 8 on one and 9 on the other. Like but I mean, still 8 million against the dead cap.
Yeah,
Like,
but they're doing they can
it
push it further down the line. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, it's just 2 years. It's just 2 years.
No, I think they can go 4.
No, not with the June 1st. It's a 2. If they do it after June 1st, they get to split it up in 2 years.
But how much does it hurt us
this year? Dead
this
cap
year?
money is the dead cap.
How much it hurt? How much it comes
right,
against us?
if they just released him outright, it would be 17 million.
No. That's what. But I'm talking about June 1st, post June 1st.
Then you split that 17 million into 2.
So 8. So
Like,
8 will hit us.
8.5 and 8.5.
Okay,
Like,
well that's more doable.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be willing to do it. Like, but it'll be interesting because I think that they have bigger fish to fry on that defense. I don't know if they want to subtract him or just bring in some other talent, because let's say that they do cut him, it's still going to hurt their salary. They have to pay Brock, which normally would be a good thing because it would save you money by signing a new deal. But Brock is making so little now that it's going to add to the cap. Like, so that's going to hurt you. Plus you've got the Debo thing going on. Plus now you're talking about cutting Hargrave. That's going to hurt us. Brock Purdy. Who are they going to? Well, I mean, it's still,
Brock Purdy's not going to hurt us until about 4 years later.
No. They're still going to pay him.
No,
it's still going to be a cap hit.
Yeah, but it's going to be like
it's going to be a bigger cap hit than what he's getting now.
It's going to be around the same. The way they're structuring.
He's going to make 900,000. I think.
Well, his is going to be like 2.5 million.
I don't know if that's what it is. It's going to be against the cap.
Because you got to look. You don't look at the yearly. What you want to see is the guarantees, and they're going to do a lot of that in the bonus. They're going to pay him a bonus money.
Counts against the cap.
It does, but they can stretch it out through the 5 years. If they sign him for 5 years, they can break that into 5 years, and that's how you lower the cap by stretching it into 5 years.
I understand that, but he's going to get his what is it called? He's gonna get his, like, it's gonna be over 50 million a year, and like I understand that that's not gonna be on the very first year, like, but he's still gonna get a pretty nice lump sum that first year.
No, you're right. But when we fill his cap hit, it's going to be 3. I said 4. I apologize. 3 years from now. So 25, 26, 27. Yeah, around 28. That's when we're really going to either restructure him or redo his contract, or depending on how Brock is playing. But his money is not going to hurt us. I mean, all money hurts because it's coming off the cap. But what's his name? The guru money guy. I mean, this guy does not like to pay players. He's always trying to save a penny for the team. But I like the way he does it. He takes care of the team so that we can have players. And remember, when Brock money kicks in, Trent Williams is going to be off the books. Trent Williams is going to be off the books. And now we're going to be dealing with a young lineman there. So, and then when someone else comes up, then
Trent Williams is going to be off the books. When
Kittle's going to be off the books.
I thought you said Trent Williams.
Yeah, I said him first. I said for Brock Purdy, Trent Williams will be off the books, and then when another player like Hughes or anybody else's contract goes up, then by that time Kittle will be off the books. They work it away where all the cap hit doesn't hit everyone at once, so they can manage it. When have we ever been in cap trouble since these guys have been here?
Oh, yeah, we've been in cap trouble before. Yes, we have. Like 2000.
Have they fixed it though?
2020. They eventually fixed it, but
look at how much did we carry this year? How much did we carry in this year? I think we were the highest team.
Not since they got rid of Richburg and they got rid of they went ahead and took their medicine and took the hit with Richburg and what was the other guy's name? The defensive end that we had that we can never get.
But we carried over 50 million from last year though. We're like the seventh highest team and 25 with money.
I'm fully aware, but how many free agents do they have?
What do you mean?
How many free agents do they have?
Can you be more specific? Like how many free agents are they going to lose?
How many people do they have to pay?
Who found out? But I don't want them back.
Ooh, okay. So now
Hargrave is gone. You really want Hufanga back, bro?
No. That's not my point. My point is, I personally do want Hufanga back. I think that they'll be able to get him back at a more because of the injuries.
If they get him in a reasonable price, then yes, I welcome him back. But not for this top dollar safety. No.
Yeah, I think Greenlaw is gone just because I think he's gonna want more money.
Now,
I think they keep him.
I disagree. I think we keep him.
He's too much.
I hope they do.
He's too much of an impact on the defense.
Well,
I hope they do, but I don't think that they can't afford to pay him a big salary.
It depends, honestly, on a team that is desperate. If there's a team out there that has a lot of money,
figure it out.
No, I understand, Brandon. But if there's a team out there like the Bears that have all this money, you didn't have to leave, Brandon. But okay, I'm like shit. He's like, I don't want to hear his shit. Bye. I'm like, fine. But if the Bears offer him a freaking enormous contract, forget about loyalties, bro. People that talk to me about he loves Fred Warner. He's loyal to the dismiss me with loyalty when it comes to money. Get your money when the opportunity is available for you. Get your money. I would hate to see Greenlaw leave. I don't want him to leave. But if the Bears offer him an amount of money that he can't refuse, if I can quote the Godfather, make him an offer he can't refuse, the Niners can't compete with that in a sense because they have other priorities they got to fill. So as long as nobody goes out there and just gives them a big load of money, then we have the opportunity to come. But we're going to have to wait on what other teams do. And I believe he's the number one. He's the number one linebacker in free agency this year, even with his injury.
Definitely.
So there's desperate teams out there that will pay. I mentioned the Bears. Who's another team that has a bunch of money? You just got to hope that they don't need linebackers, the ones with all the money. If they need a linebacker, that's when things get a little difficult. But I would love to bring him back. But I wouldn't be shocked, like Pete says. If he was gone, I wouldn't be like, what? They let him go? Now, if he gets signed somewhere else for a little bit of money and the Niners could have paid that money, then I'll be shocked. But if they give him a ransom,
Texans can afford him.
Yeah,
the Texans can afford him.
True.
And so can, and don't act like he wouldn't love to go play for D'Amico.
No,
and
you're right.
And there's others but I think they'll bring back Hufanga.
Hey, I gotta go back to work, but I drove for a little bit as much as I could, but I'm out here doing a night shoot right now, so that's why I have to go back.
Oh, I see those walking ladies walking behind you, but be careful.
No, mamas. I'm in the box truck right now.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for popping in, man. The little time you had, bro, I appreciate it, man. Even though you were distracting more than anything, but at least you were here.
I'm dead.
Love you, Brandon. Thank you.
Hey, next Tuesday, I'm back to normal schedule, so I'll definitely be able to join right on time.
All right, bro. Hey, life happens, bro. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. All right, guys. I will talk to you guys next week.
All right. Good night, brother. Later. Be safe.
Good night.
All right, brother.
Peace.
You have a good one.
Oh, shoot. Ryan, look, you don't want to see two of me. I'm a big boy, but you definitely don't want to see two of me. But okay, real quick.
It's going to be.
It's going to be a big. Do we sign Robert Saleh, in your opinion? Do we? Let's bring in a little bit more of. No. Do we sign him, in your opinion?
Nope. I think it's going to be Staley, and then I think they're going to end up. I think they're going to end up. Hold on. Where's that button? They're going to get.
I can't hear that, bro.
I think they're going to be. It's going to be Staley, and I think they're going to bring. They're going to give Nick Sorensen the special teams job.
Oh shit, bro! We just lost half of our viewers.
Hey,
What's up, David Villa?
I'm not like I'm not the guy that's going to make it sound all rosy and perfect.
No, I hear you. I hear you. There's a great possibility that can happen.
I give you the real, and like I said earlier, Shanny doesn't show you by what he says. They can tell you whatever, and then they do whatever. Like they show you in their actions. The fact that they didn't go out and lock somebody up by now, when they were talking about how it was so great they got so much more time to weigh their options, like and watching these other guys fly off the board, that tells me all I need to know. It tells me all I need to know, and I wouldn't be shocked if some person came out of left field and they hired him, but that's the way I see it happening.
Interesting. Yeah, I hear you, bro.
I hope I'm wrong.
All I know is I've been a supporter of Shanahan and John Lynch. That will change dramatically if they go with Sorensen as special teams and Brandon as DC. Now, I don't like it, but if they brought Robert Saleh as DC and stupidly went with Nick as special teams, I wouldn't like it, but I can swallow the pill a bit. But to have both of those persons in that spot when the Niners had opportunities to go out and interview candidates. I mean, look at for example, Ben Johnson. I don't know who he's going to be, what he's going to be as a head coach. A lot of great offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator do not make it as a head coach. So I wish him the best with the Bears. Good luck to him. But he was out of the playoffs when they lost to the Commanders. The Bears didn't have to wait until after the Super Bowl. So he's got hired, and he already picked up his defensive coordinator. He's already moving the ball fast.
Yep.
And you have Shanahan that's been sitting on his ass since week 18 and hasn't done nothing because we're going to wait for Robert Saleh, and that's all we're going to wait for. If that happens, bro, that I know you talk a lot about pride, and that's going to show me that he does allow his pride to make decisions for him, because I could not accept an excuse from him why they went with Brandon, because they felt in their heart that they were going to get Robert Saleh. I just can't go with it. You got to do your due diligence. You might want Robert Saleh, but you should have interviewed all these other, Dennis Allen, you should have interviewed all these other coaches to kind of get a feel of what they can do for your defense. Maybe they bring in a philosophy that might make you think like, you know what? I can see myself, I can see us changing to that route because I like this man's vision on how he wants to lead the defense. But when you don't give nobody an opportunity because you're stuck on one person, and listen, I love Robert Saleh. I do. But he's not a D'Amico Ryans. In my case, if D'Amico Ryans was the one that was out there, shoot, I would move heaven and earth to go get D'Amico. Robert Saleh, I hope he changes in-game adjustments, but he was terrible. He never make adjustments into the half. Hopefully that changed since he became a head coach. But, you know, would I be mad bringing Robert Saleh? At this point, no, because who's out there is better than him right now. But if they stick with Brandon Staley, bro, I don't know. This guy right here is not going to be defending these guys anymore. I can't because it's not like we just left the Super Bowl. Now, like with Nick Sorensen, I understand why they went with him. They tried to get Jeff Ulbrich. Robert Saleh denied that. They're looking for a DC coordinator late February because of the Super Bowl. I can understand they had to go with an in-house name because they didn't have the options to look at other names, right? But what's the excuse this year? We've been available since week 18.
Yeah, but that's really what I was saying earlier, is that it seems to me that like I don't listen to Shanny's words. I watch his moves. His moves are saying
one thing, then it's opposite of what his words, right?
He's waiting for he's waiting for Saleh to figure out. That tells me that it was Saleh or I'm just going to go with Staley.
Yeah, so Saleh or bust. Absolutely agree with you.
And and that's and that's it. And I see you in there, Bash, talking about Sorensen and the special. That was Mike Silver said that he doesn't expect Sorensen to be put in as the special teams coordinator.
Pete, can I ask you a question real quick?
I mean, I don't care.
I want to ask your honest opinion. Do you care whether a person is nice or not? I mean, when you need a job to be done, I love nice people. They're great people to hang out with. They're great people to do things with. But you can be an SOB, but do your job well, and be a nice guy and not do your job well. I need someone that can perform. Nick, what I mean by all this is Nick Sorensen is a great guy. That's all I hear. He's a great guy. Yeah. But you don't hire him or give him a special team just because he's a great guy. You're trying to win a championship.
I get it. I mean, we just finished talking about. So this is my thing about Nick Sorensen, and I've talked about it on my show ad nauseum. I don't necessarily think he was that bad. I just don't. I think that the team played terrible. But I'd watched game after game after game of guys being in position and just missing tackles, and just being in position to get interceptions, and it's bouncing off their forehead. I've seen them get fumbles and then just not recover fumbles. It was just all year long that they just could not finish plays. And do you blame the defensive coordinator for guys just not tackling? I don't know that you do. And if we sit here and compare him to Steve Wilks, okay, well then he would have had to have the same guys with the same health, and which he did not. He didn't have Hufanga all year.
And he didn't have Hargrave all year.
He didn't have Greenlaw all year. He didn't have Hargrave all year.
Yep.
He didn't have he had a shade of the 49er defense to work with, which is why I don't necessarily blame. I think that in some ways you could look to what he did towards the back end of the year as he made significant improvements to what he had to work with. And because that defensive line was a patchwork, there was nothing there. It was Bosa and the Pips. That was it. And we're expecting him to be the 2019 defense or as good as Wilks, but Wilks had the whole team. And I just thought it was unfair to Nick Sorensen to kind of to play him that way. But honestly, Steve, people get caught up about Steve Wilks. It had nothing to do with production. The reason why he got let go had nothing to do with the job that he did. It had everything to do with he didn't mix with Kyle Shanahan.
Well, because he wanted to change the scheme. He wanted to make it his own.
He saw.
And I'm not blaming Wilks for that.
Honestly, I don't blame Wilks either, because I think that he saw blatant cracks in the defense. He felt like they needed to make changes, and Shanny wouldn't let him.
Nope. That is stubborn from Shanny. He's like, this has worked, and it can continue to work. Now, to your credit earlier, sometimes change is good. I know people don't like change, but change can be good. It doesn't always have to be bad. You don't know what works unless you change it, right? It's like, you do something for so long and you're like, I can't see myself doing anything else but this. And then for some weird reason, you can't do that anymore. And then you try something different. You're like, oh my God, I didn't know I can do this. I was so busy doing this that so change is not always bad. And I think Wilks did bump heads with Kyle Pete. And I think he was trying to implement a little bit more of his scheme. And Shanahan being Shanahan is like, nope, you run it like this or you run it at all. And it tells you a lot because Kyle put Wilks under the bus in the press conference. And that's not cool.
But I don't think that Wilkes was getting along with the whole defense either.
No, it wasn't all
and
Kyle, but
I don't think it was all Kyle. I think that I think that really wasn't the right thing to do by Kyle. But at the same time, I think he was going off of what he was hearing in the locker room. And like that's the vibe that I got because the players were throwing Wilkes under the bus.
no, true. The reason why I don't like Wilkes is because he brought Isaiah Oliver with him, and for that alone,
who played actually not
stop
bad
it, stop it.
I'm just saying he didn't. It wasn't that bad,
bro. Isaiah Oliver was trash.
He didn't play bad before he got to the Niners. Like,
so we made him bad.
He wasn't a good fit. Like 90% of football is the fit.
Of course,
is the fit in the scheme. Like that's why it pisses me off so bad that that Shanahan doesn't fix this offensive line and at least get the right type of offensive lineman to fit your scheme or figure out what your scheme is. I don't know what, but I couldn't tell by looking at your offensive line what your scheme is. I couldn't tell by looking at your defensive line right now what your scheme is. There's no identity to this team at all.
True.
At all.
Hey, next year. Oh my goodness. Next week. Next year. We're gonna do a draft simulation on Tuesday, bro. I'm gonna have you. You want to do 4 rounds? You want to do 3 rounds? The whole set?
I'll do all 7. I'll do all 7. I love it. Like whatever we got time for, though.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear because if we get right into it, we can do the 7. I like to use, and you let me know if you like something different. I love using PFF as a simulator. I think it's a really good simulator myself. But to each his,
they all have their strengths and weaknesses. Like,
of course,
I've used them all. Like and PFF, it's not bad. Like but it goes off of PFF grades.
Of course.
Sometimes it's just not really accurate as to how coaches and them see. They don't rate the guys like coaches and how the other like people like football people look at those players. They don't rate them the same. So it's kind of different. But either way, it's all going to change. It doesn't really matter right now until the combine hits. We're not going to get a real this is going to be a very preliminary mock draft because there's going to be so much that we get after the combine, Senior Bowl. We still got to get the Senior Bowl. We still got to get there's all these things that are going to make this draft flip-flop all over the place.
Of course. Now,
and
again,
then when the draft hits,
the whole purpose of draft
anywhere near the mock draft.
No. It's all for entertainment. I mean, there's no absolutes when it comes to drafting prior to the Senior Bowl, prior to the combine, especially the combine, because that's where players go up and some players go down the draft. But we can also have an idea of our needs, who could be there, and we can go. And again, it's just based on entertainment and having fun and doing it. So we can definitely do one next week. And as we get closer after the combine and everything, and after free agency, because free agents, believe it or not, can move things around as well, depending who they go and get for plugins. So, but we'll do it for fun, bro. And then when we get closer to the actual draft, then we can kind of do it. I mean, there's so many times. I don't know how many times you did it last year, bro, but I lost count how many times I did it. So, but anyway, I know I can be on here all night, bro. It's over an hour. You're 3 hours ahead. You got to work tomorrow. I'm retired, bro. So I got to keep that in mind and be respectful of it. Real quick, I just want to say thank you to everybody who joined us in the chat. Once again, you guys are amazing. You guys are the MVP of every show by showing up and showing out. Appreciate Pete. It's always a pleasure, my friend. I know we always get into some discussion, disagreements, whatever, but you're my boy. I love you, man. Brandon, thank you for popping in, even with your bad $2 service. That's why you're working overtime so that you can take care of that phone bill. I love you too, brother. I love talking trash. I don't talk trash about those that I love, bro. I'm weird like that. Some people tell me that I should hate them so I can have more respect for them. But I love you guys. Thank you for hanging in. Next Tuesday at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time here on our channels. Make sure to follow. Make sure to hit subscribe. If a lot of you following Pete, come over and subscribe to my channel. You don't have to watch it on my channel, but give me some love. I appreciate it. Pete, always a pleasure, man. Thank you for coming in with me. Have a wonderful evening. Everybody have a blessed night, and we'll see each other next Tuesday at 6:30 with a mock draft. And always, go Niners. Respect one another. We're out of here. Peace.